Okay, the dreaded clicker. Thank you all for coming to this session. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians on the land on where we meet today and paying my respects to their elders past and present. Our traditional custodians have been managing resources for thousands of years. So yeah, let's get into it. So today I'm going to talk to you about business attitudes, why we need to understand them when it comes to waste management and sustainability, some research that we're launching today. I'll go through the methodology, results and recommendations, and then talk a little bit about the new Recycling Near You website. Planet Ark, we've been around for just over 30 years. We're Australian not-for-profit, and our mission is to enable positive environmental actions for everyone by bringing people, businesses and governments, and really educators as well, together. And I challenge you to find a cuter photo than that with our National Tree Day ambassador. So, you've probably seen these stats now, but why do we need to understand business attitudes? Well, C&I waste, and that's without core waste, is increasing. C&I resource recovery rate is decreasing. And it's important in terms of encouraging behaviour change to understand business attitudes. Because you get a sense of what their capability is, their opportunity, and their motivation. And that's part of a behavioural change theory, the COM-B model. And looking at the capability and opportunity, you investigate what their barriers are, and you can look at how you can address them. And I'll talk a little bit about that in the recommendations. Of course, we'd like to thank the New South Wales EPA, who've been a foundation sponsor of Planet Ark's business recycling program for, it must be over 10 years. The program began about 15 years ago and is being merged into Recycling Near You, but I'll talk a little bit about that afterwards. So we commissioned Pollinate, who are a research agency, to survey 255 Australian businesses. This was a reasonable representation of businesses in terms of location, size, and industry spread. And the people we spoke to, or Pollinate spoke to, 95% of them claimed to be responsible for waste management within their business. So, in terms of the top 10 materials disposed of in general waste, and just a note that these percentages refer to the proportion of businesses who reported this waste stream or disposing of this material. It's not about amounts or frequency of disposal. But at the top, you've got food scraps, leftover food, and coffee capsules and pods. We looked at the New South Wales EPA's C&I waste audit to compare what they found compared to our results. 35% of C&I waste gets sent to landfill. That is recyclable. And you'll see there that the major, as was shown in the previous presentation actually, organics is the major material, and that aligns with our findings as well. And again, that's an opportunity for education, and we can see that being taken up with the presentation before me. In terms of the top 10 materials recycled, again, it's a proportion of businesses that are doing this, not the amounts. We have advertising and material and envelopes at the top, 77% of all businesses. Aluminium with 74%, newspaper and magazines. Some of the insights that we can draw from these results, small businesses are more likely to recycle household recyclables. So potentially because there's a lot of work from home in that sector. If you look at the second from the bottom, soft plastics, this is potentially a concern. 64% of businesses say that they're recycling soft plastics. Now, whether this is contamination or if they're actually doing that, it'd be good to get a recycler to answer that question. But again, perhaps that's an education opportunity as well. So in terms of the higher order R strategies, I'll show you the top two materials for a couple of those R strategies, starting with reuse. So bricks and concrete and particle board, 35% of businesses said that they reuse those materials. In terms of reselling and donating, office furniture was on top with 42%, followed by clothes and textiles. And probably not surprising, in terms of repair, we've got computers at 27%. So some insights from these results. Those higher order waste management actions are being undertaken by business. However, much fewer than, say, recycling. About half, really, in terms of those other higher order R strategies. So again, an opportunity for education and investment. In terms of barriers to more sustainable disposable practices. So one of the barriers was a lack of awareness of more sustainable disposal options, and I think that's been shown across other research as well. Just to highlight that, there's a small business quote there from the survey about coffee pods saying that I'm not sure how to recycle them or if you can. Another barrier is that perceived lack of access to recycling services. And again, we've got a small business there talking about office furniture, that there are just no available options. Another barrier is time poor or lack of convenience, and other priorities. And we've got a medium business there, a quote about printer cartridges, that more sustainable disposal needs a lot of effort. And we also have perceived increased cost of recycling over landfill, and we've got a large business quote there on batteries saying it's expensive. I'll come back to the time poor. Got a story about that. Business with policies, procedures or strategies in place to reduce their environmental impact. Now this is quite high. All businesses, 74% say they have one of those policies, procedures or strategies. How they define that probably differs across the board, but you'll see a sliding scale from large down to medium and small in terms of whether they have those in place, which is not too surprising. In terms of what behaviours businesses have adopted to reduce their environmental impact, the top three there are installing energy efficient light globes, turning computers off at night, and recycling office paper. Now these are pretty simple actions really, potentially saving money as well. And then you'll see there that the small businesses are more commonly undertaking these actions. When we look at kind of the more complex actions, such as discussing better waste management and recycling practices at board and management level, having a sustainable procurement policy or strategy, or having a circular economy strategy, you'll see that larger businesses are more commonly using those strategies versus small. So with small businesses, a little story I have is that my father owned a fish shop in Gosford back when I was a kid. He used to get up at 6 a.m. And leave to pick up some fish from the local fish co-op. He'd come home, have a cuppa, take me to school, and then he'd drop the fish off at the shop, go park the truck, and then he'd put it all on display, and then he'd start work for the day at 9 o'clock. Of course, it'd go through to 5 o'clock, and then he has to pack it all up, take the takings, do some accountancy work, and then do it again the next day. Saturdays, he'd open the shop from 9 to 1 o'clock, and then on Sundays, his day off, he'd go to another fish co-op to get other seafood for the week, and then he'd drop it off at the shop. So there's not much time there for thinking about other things really, other than family and relaxing potentially. So it's something. It says that the solutions need to be convenient and easy. In terms of business implementation of circular R strategies, we've got the ladder of circularity on the right. Might be a bit hard to see, but the most impactful strategy is about refusing, followed by reducing. Recycling actually is number 9 on that hierarchy. And in terms of what businesses are implementing, we've got repair at the top, which is great to see. 76% say that they're repairing. 73%, sorry, are reusing, and 72% are recycling. Some insights from this is that, again, most businesses reportedly are implementing those higher circular strategies, but how widespread is that implementation is probably what needs to be investigated. In terms of motivators for businesses to reduce their environmental impact, now, just to keep you on your toes, we've switched it, so the highest number is down the bottom. So in terms of that, reducing energy consumption, that saves money, that's the biggest motivator across all businesses. My personal views on the environment, obviously that's a bigger factor for those smaller businesses, and we want to take the lead in addressing climate change, which kind of links in with that brand perception, public image, and even competitiveness being those key motivators. In terms of where businesses learn about waste management and recycling, it's a relatively even spread there from waste management and recycling websites, local government sources. We've also got government, state and federal government, and then non-profits down there as well. So we can see that they source it from a wide range of areas. In terms of some specific resources and their usage, we've got the National Waste Policy at the top. And then we've got some Planet Ark resources, business recycling, which will be merging into Recycling Near You. And I guess the reason why potentially these are high numbers compared to the NGO results on the previous slide is that businesses may not be aware that they're run by NGOs. Okay, on to the recommendations. Education campaigns, providing information about existing solutions using behaviour change science. Effective campaigns need to use tested messaging and established behaviour change principles, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a sec. Programs that provide support to SMEs, addressing that SME shortfall in time. Research into R strategies and cost reductions, and showing that there is tangible evidence out there that those circular economy strategies are reducing costs where possible. And then strengthening of government policy regulation and focusing on those of greatest impact. So in terms of that education campaign, I won't go through all of this, pointing to helpful resources like Recycling Near You as an information source, but it's not all about information. You also need to motivate them, demonstrating that the solutions are easy and convenient, they have a competitive advantage, fear of missing out, and then what Kathy mentioned also, demonstrating positive social proof. The more people, the more businesses that are undertaking these actions, then the more proof you have. And then I'll just go down to the number 4, strengthening of government policy. Focusing on higher order R strategies. So refuse, reduce, and importantly, redesign, I think was mentioned in another presentation. And these are all linked to the barriers that have come out of the research, and there's a full list in the research report. So the new Recycling Near You. So currently, the Recycling Near You website gets around 1.8 million users every year. 86% of those users come from Google, so they'll land on a Recycling Near You page after searching on Google. In terms of business recycling, obviously a smaller audience. We get about 114,000 users per year, and around 46% of those users come via Google. So we see a bit of a gap, and one of the reasons why we're merging these two sites is that businesses are potentially finding Recycling Near You information when it's about household services, not C&I services. Hence, why we're merging. So this new website will offer recycling solutions for both households and businesses, and the first of its kind in Australia. That's what it's going to look like. There's a toggle between I'm recycling from home or work, and obviously lots of resources as well. For councils and recyclers, we've updated the back end, so the form is a bit more streamlined. So councils and recyclers can update their listings or register if you're not registered on there. One of the next projects, or one of the projects we're currently working on, is a recycling equipment catalogue, and that's with funding from the New South Wales EPA. So that'll be a new website launching shortly. So my call to action is to download the report. There's a nice summary that you can download if you don't want to read the 40 or 50 pages. But yeah, thank you very much.